They said silence was empty. They were wrong. Silence was listening. The observation deck of the Meridian offered a view that should have been beautiful. Endless stars scattered across the void like diamonds on black velvet. But Dr. Kiera Voss hadn't looked at them in weeks. Her eyes were fixed on the monitor, watching the flat line of cosmic silence. For 40 years, humanity had listened to the universe. Radio telescopes, quantum receivers, gravitational wave detectors. All searching for one thing: proof we weren't alone. And for 40 years, the universe had answered with nothing but static and the mindless hum of distant pulsars. Until 6 months ago. The signal had appeared suddenly, emanating from a point in space beyond the Oort cloud. Not random. Not natural. A pattern. Mathematics woven into electromagnetic waves. The message was clear in its intent if not its content: we are here. The world had erupted in celebration. First contact. Humanity's greatest moment. Within 8 weeks, the Meridian had been launched, a skeleton crew of 12 scientists and engineers racing toward the source at speeds that bent the laws of physics. Kiera had been chosen as the lead linguist. She'd spent her entire career preparing for this moment, studying every theoretical framework for alien communication. She'd dreamed of it since childhood, lying in her backyard and wondering if something out there was wondering about her too. Now, 3 months into the journey, she wished she'd stayed home. Still nothing. Commander Hayes appeared behind her, his reflection ghostly in the monitor's dark surface. Nothing, Kiera confirmed. The signal stopped the moment we launched. Complete radio silence since then. Maybe they're shy. Hayes attempted a smile that didn't reach his eyes. We're still 2 weeks out from the source coordinates. Maybe they're waiting for us to arrive. Kiera nodded, but unease coiled in her stomach. In the vast darkness of space, silence felt like a presence. Like something holding its breath. That night, Kiera couldn't sleep. The ship's engines hummed their monotonous lullaby, but something felt wrong. She pulled herself from her sleeping pod and drifted through the corridors toward the communications bay. The lights were dimmed for night cycle, casting long shadows. Her magnetic boots clicked softly against the floor plates. As she rounded the corner to the bay, she stopped. Dr. Marcus Chen sat at the main console, illuminated by the blue glow of multiple screens. But he wasn't moving. His hands hovered over the keyboard, frozen. His eyes were wide, unblinking, fixed on something Kiera couldn't see. Marcus? He didn't respond. Didn't even twitch. Kiera's pulse quickened. She moved closer, reaching out to touch his shoulder. The moment her fingers made contact, Marcus gasped, a horrible, drowning sound, and spun toward her. His eyes were wrong. The pupils had dilated until almost no iris remained, 2 black holes in his face. They're not calling out, he whispered. They're calling in. Then he collapsed. The medical bay was chaos. Dr. Patel worked frantically over Marcus's unconscious form while the rest of the crew crowded the doorway. Hayes pulled Kiera aside. What happened? I don't know. I found him like that. He said something strange before he passed out. She hesitated. He said, they're not calling out, they're calling in. Hayes's jaw tightened. Calling in? What does that mean? I don't know, but... The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then the ship's intercom crackled to life with a sound that made Kiera's blood freeze. It was the signal. The same mathematical pattern that had drawn them here, now playing through every speaker in the ship. But underneath it, woven into its structure, was something else. A rhythm. A pulse. A heartbeat. Shut it down. Hayes barked, but Engineer Lou was already at the panel, fingers flying. I can't. It's not coming from our systems, it's coming from everywhere. The signal grew louder, filling the air, vibrating through the hull. Kiera felt it in her bones, in her teeth. And then she understood. It wasn't a message. It was a song. And they were learning to sing it. One by one, the crew members' eyes began to glaze. Lou stopped trying to shut down the signal and simply stared at her console. Patel backed away from Marcus, her hands falling to her sides. Hayes reached for his sidearm but his fingers wouldn't close around it. Only Kiera remained aware, though she didn't know why. Perhaps her years of studying language patterns had given her some immunity, some ability to hear the signal without surrendering to it. She grabbed Hayes by the shoulders. "Commander. Fight it." But Hayes was already gone, his eyes turning to those familiar black voids. "We're almost there," he said in a voice that wasn't quite his own. "We're almost home." Kiera ran. She didn't know where she was going, only that she had to move, had to think. Her feet carried her to the observation deck. The stars wheeled overhead, indifferent to her terror. And there, in the distance, she saw it. The source. It wasn't a planet. It wasn't a ship. It was a void, a patch of space where stars should have been but weren't. A sphere of perfect blackness, drinking in light. As the Meridian drew closer, Kiera saw things moving in that darkness. Shapes. Enormous, impossible geometries that hurt to perceive. They twisted and folded through dimensions her mind couldn't process. And she understood. The signal hadn't been a greeting. It had been a lure. Bait cast into the cosmic ocean, designed to attract curious fish. And humanity, desperate for connection, had swallowed it whole. She thought of all the signals Earth had sent into space over the decades. All the messages, the mathematics, the music. She'd always wondered why we'd never received a reply. Now she knew. Because everything that replied was still out here. Changed. Converted. Singing the same song that was currently rewriting the neurons in her crew's brains. The dark forest theory had been wrong. The universe wasn't silent because predators were hiding. It was silent because the prey had learned not to make a sound. Kiera stumbled to the communications console, her hands shaking. She had to warn Earth. Had to tell them to stop listening, stop broadcasting, stop reaching out into the void. But when she activated the transmitter, nothing happened. The ship's systems were already compromised, already singing that horrible song back toward home. No. Not just the ship. Kiera pulled up the long-range sensors and felt her heart stop. All across human space, every listening post, every satellite, every telescope was receiving the signal. Broadcasting it. Amplifying it. How long until everyone was singing? She looked out at the darkness ahead, at the shapes moving within it. Ancient. Patient. Waiting for the galaxy to fill with their song, transforming every voice into an echo of their own. Humanity had spent centuries afraid of the silence. But silence, Kiera now understood, was mercy. Silence was the universe's way of saying, "Don't let them know you're here." The observation deck door opened behind her. Her crew stood there, all of them, their eyes black and empty and full of something that was no longer human. "It's beautiful," Marcus said. "Don't you want to see?" Kiera backed against the window, the cold of space pressing against her spine through the glass. "Don't you want to understand?" Hayes added, stepping forward. "We're not being destroyed, Kiera. We're being completed. Made part of something greater. Join us," they said in unison, their voices harmonizing with the signal. "Join the chorus." Kiera's hand found the emergency release for the observation deck. One pull and the entire section would explosively decompress, venting into space. It would kill her. It would kill all of them. But her last thought, her last human thought, would remain her own. She looked one final time at the darkness ahead, at the thing wearing the mask of empty space. And she wondered how many civilizations had made this same journey. How many voices had been added to its song? How many more would follow? Her fingers tightened on the release. But then she stopped. Because in that moment, with the signal washing over her and the darkness reaching out, Kiera realized something that filled her with a terror beyond words. She wanted to sing. The Meridian continued on its course, its transmitters beaming the signal back toward Earth. On board, 12 voices rose in perfect harmony. And in the void ahead, the darkness listened. Somewhere, on a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable star, 7 billion people turned their eyes toward the sky. And began to hum.